How to use the Hornbill rubber tapping knife. Hello everyone, my name is Manahi Rahu from Narathiwat Province, Wang District. I am the innovator of Hornbill rubber tapping knife with stainless blade replacement. Mr. Manahi Rahu, the Hornbill knife's inventor from Wang, Narathiwat Province. Why the Hornbill rubber tapping knife? What are its advantages? The Hornbill knife is a new innovation of rubber tapping knives. No need to be wetted, the blade can be replaced. The blade of the Hornbill knife is as sharp as a razor blade, with the sharp edge on both sides. It can be used with approximately 2,000 trees. The blade can be adjusted to cut in both thick and thin surfaces. It can be used with young, middle-aged, and old trees. The replaceable blade solves the problem of incorrectly wetting by a tapper, as the wetting results cannot be consistent. By using an unsharpened blade, it can cause two major damages as follows. The tapper is required to cut deep, resulting in a waste of rubber tree skin and shorter life of the tree. It also results in less amount of rubber latex. But the Hornbill knife, it cuts in a thin surface of only 1 millimeter, which prolongs the age of the rubber tree by 3 times, equal to 50 years of tapping, and provides 10 to 15% more rubber latex as well, because using a sharp blade to tap the rubber tree can give more latex. Also, the Hornbill knife solves the problem of lack of skilled manpower, as it can be used by anyone and the result will always be a 1 millimeter cut, because the Hornbill knife has a deep tapping protector that controls the blade not to cut in too deeply, helping to save the tapping surface. Moreover, the Hornbill rubber tapping knife was certified by the show Billionaire Inventor on WorkPoint TV. Easy and thin tap. Gets more sap. 50 years fabulous. Removing, reassembling the blade of the Hornbill knife. For the Hornbill knife, there are 2 types of blades. The first is the standard type, suitable for tapping bark 3 to 10 millimeters thick. This blade is of small size. The second is bigger, usually called the Betong blade, suitable for tapping bark of 7 to 15 millimeters thick. This knife is named Betong after the Betong district of Yala province, where most of the rubber plantations have rubber trees with very thick bark. The Hornbill rubber tapping knife is as sharp as a razor blade. I'll show you how sharp it is. A Hornbill rubber tapping knife has 4 components as follows. The main component is its handle, its screw, its blade holder or the blade lock, and the blade. Now assembling it is easy. Just lay the blade on the handle, then put in the blade lock and spin the screw in, as simple as that. The blade can be slidden to adjust. For cutting deep, slide it forward. For cutting thin, slide it backward. But for normal or general tapping, place the blade in the middle to balance the both sides. Positioning the blade, looking for the right tapping point. Let's look at the right tapping method. For an old style knife, it has to be placed close to the trunk. But for a Hornbill knife, it will not be possible to tap when placed close to the trunk, as the blade part will fall off the edge. The Hornbill knife needs to be inclined at about 45 degrees or the edge has to point upwards. There is a gap between the tree and the blade, where we can look for the right point to tap between them. This facilitates the tapping, which is different from the use of an old style knife because putting the blade completely close to the trunk makes us lean the neck, thereby feeling stiff. For the Hornbill rubber tapping knife, when placed at 45 degrees, we can look at the gap between the blade and the tree. We can tap at an upper position and then simply drag it downwards without having to lean the neck. The tapping methods of the Hornbill knife. There are three ways of tapping. The first way is tapping at a normal level of about 1 meter. Blade position, place the blade at 45 degrees and just drag it along without lifting the handle. Second way, I'll demonstrate tapping at a low level, lower than 70 centimeters. At this level, about 1 foot or 30 centimeters, we have two ways to do it. By dragging and pulling. The third way, to tap at a high level, higher than 1.5 meters, the method is the same as at the normal level, with a standard tapping used at the level of 1 meter. Look, this rubber tree is old and it has thick bark. Most of the old trees have thick bark. We cannot use a normal knife with them. We need to use the Beitong blade, which is bigger. We can apply the same tapping, the same position of the blade, in the middle. Using the same way of tapping, that is to incline the blade at a 45 degree and then drag it along simply like a general knife. Thickness-fineness comparison of rubber bark as tapped by jaebong knife and hornbill knife. When tapping with an original style knife, the thickness of bark is at about 3 millimeters. With a hornbill knife, the thickness is only 1 millimeter. Imagine if we can train 100 people to tap with the hornbill knife. All of them will be able to tap at a thickness of 1 millimeter, which is impossible with the old style knife. This is the reason the hornbill knife can prolong the tree's life to more than 50 years. Real experience from hornbill knife users. Today I have come to Prachuap Girikan province to see a customer named Kun Supachai, who has tried the hornbill rubber tapping knife. Let's meet with him. Hello, Kun Supachai. Hello, Kun Manai. How is the use of the hornbill knife? It's better than an old style knife. First of all, no need to wet it. Secondly, it can be adjusted to tap thick or thin. And finally, it works quicker. And how is the rubber latex? It's rather flowing out more. When tapping, it won't overlay the tapping trace. Kun Manai, you can look at this rubber tree. For this surface, we use an old style knife to tap it for about 1 year. Tapping for 1 year, it leaves thick bark and unsmooth surface. And for the smooth surface, what kind of knife do you use? I changed to use the hornbill knife for that. The surface gets much smoother. After the change, we can tap more easily, more quickly. We can tap more finely and the latex flows out better as well. I never learned to tap rubber trees. I tried it for 5 minutes and I can do it like a professional. The Hornbill knife is easy to use. It allows more rubber latex. The rubber tree won't be damaged and it stands for many decades longer without having to cut it down. Easy and thin tap. Gets more sap. "50 years fabulous." The Hornbill knife is really good, to be honest.